There's a huge battle brewing at the box office this weekend between Gladiator II, starring Pedro Pascal and Denzel Washington, and of course, Wicked, starring Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. We've got some early Thursday preview figures coming in right now, and as you can see, Wicked is running away with it. They're estimating somewhere around $20 million coming into previews. That's before the first big day, Friday, today, with Gladiator trailing well behind, around 6 to 7 million in previews. Although Wicked had a bit of a leg up with some additional days of previews into it, but I don't think anybody is going to believe that Gladiator 2 is going to outperform Wicked this weekend. But that being said, I want to talk a little bit about Gladiator 2 and maybe some of the reasons why. Because you see, we recently were joined by our friend Shad Brooks from Shadiversity and Night's Watch on YouTube. He got an early screening of Gladiator, well, at least compared to those of us in the States, because, well, he's from Australia. And that movie's been out globally now for roughly a week. And Shad, well, he had a few thoughts to share on what he thought about Gladiator 2. Renegade Online. Gladiator 2, which does not open here till next weekend, but...
I still got time. Because I've seen it. It's released over here, and I'm like, I need to get this review out, but I've been so busy.
You're good. Okay, so I figured you probably have seen it because it came out in the international box before it came here. And I don't want you to spoil your own video, Shad. So, please, but your kind of general thoughts, because right now, this is very impressive. 80 to 90 million early overseas box this weekend. It opens here in the States, I think. I don't remember if it opens Wednesday this week or if it's coming out with Thursday previews for a Friday 3-day opening. But we're coming up on it. It's going head-to-head with Wicked, which I don't know if you've seen that one. I know I know you're a huge fan of Cynthia Erivo, so I just...
I don't even know who that is.
She's the chick that plays Alphaba with the shaved head and the nose ring. Oh, boy. Okay, I'll ruin your day. Right. Let's talk about Gladiator 2. So, I mean, look, I didn't have a whole lot of interest. I was a big fan of the first one. Just reflexively, I did not have a whole lot of interest in this new iteration 20-something years later. But my mind is open. I'm willing to, if you and Drinker and the other guys out there that I know have usually similar tastes to myself say, hey, it was fun, I'll check it out. But what did you think?
It's complete crap. It was awful. There are a couple of good moments here and there. If your brain is kind of turned off, you're going for the full. But overall, the film was, for me, a complete disaster. I don't think I felt much joy in it at all, apart from laughing at some of the most, it opens with one of the dumbest, and I mean dumbest siege battles I've ever seen. And we just had Rings of Power, okay? And so
you're wait, Shad, you're telling me, do you think this is worse than ROP?
No, but the opening battle is almost to that level. And so it didn't start good. And there are a lot of cliche moments in it where you can see a mile away, you know what's going on, so you're not invested in it, and it's throwaway, and they don't give enough time to actually get you interested in certain characters. And everyone who watches this film is invariably going to be comparing it to the first one. That's the bar, that's the precedent, that's the contrast that people have to compare. And because of that, this thing is just a disaster. It's dead. Because it's so funny how many beats it tries to copy from the first film and misses dramatically. And because you're thinking of the first film, you're just like, this is a shadow. This is a poor imitation of what it's trying to do. And then when they try and go a little bit different to the first film, it doesn't work at all. And by the way, probably one of the worst performances I've ever seen by Denzel Washington. And is still probably the best actor in the film. Oh, Pedro Pascal, I couldn't believe how bad he was. It was like, and he can act, but the directing must have just been so off. He was like a plank of wood for a lot of the film, and then you just don't care about the main character, and then the resolution falls flat. Look, there were some moments where I actually enjoyed some of the fighting, but it wasn't built up well, and you're not really invested in it. And I couldn't bring myself to feeling much about the film by the end. I didn't come out thinking, it was just like, okay, that happened.
Well, up until this point, I had thought that Gladiator II going up against Wicked was a bad idea. Now, Shad, you've convinced me otherwise. The only way for this movie to make money is to be the film that husbands escape to away from Wicked.
I think it still might do well. I don't know. I think it's a bad film, but bad films have done well before. And one thing that you can kind of give it is that, look, it's violent, it's action, it's about dudes trying to kill other guys. And in terms of is there any political subversive woke crap in it? They actually cut a gay kiss out of the film. You can see where it was going to be put in, but Denzel has already mentioned that they cut it out of the film.
There's a lot of that going around this week. We got another story on that, believe it or not. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, because of that, there isn't a huge amount of really anything overt, slap you in the face, woke crap in it. It's just a bad film. But if you're like gladiators killing other gladiators, maybe it'll do all right, and some guys will,
or if you've been sitting with your wife watching Wicked for 30 minutes and you can't take it anymore.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There's a certain brilliance, honestly, to the counter programming, the duality of these two films, Wicked and Gladiator II, coming out this weekend, because there is that to be said, to where women don't have to go sit through this with the guys don't have to go sit through Wicked with the girls. And look, as somebody who is a huge fan of the Broadway, the original Broadway of Wicked, I mean, it's brilliantly done. The music is phenomenal. Really, I've always enjoyed it. But when I saw the film adaptation, I wasn't really. I'm like, it's kind of like Gladiator. I'm like, I've got my reservations. But I tell you what, we've got somebody else here. I'm really curious to hear what our next guest thinks, because they also love to go see movies and review movies and do reactions. And she's joining us here tonight. Michelle from Force of Light is here.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hey, hello. Michelle. All right, so
here.
We've got Gladiator and Wicked coming out this weekend. Where are you going?
Well, I plan on seeing and reviewing both of them.
And
I'm really not excited for either, which is sad because, well, I mean, I just watched Gladiator for the first time at the beginning of this year, and I thought it was a fantastic film. I was shocked at how much me as a female sat there and cried at the end and enjoyed it so much. But this one, so let me ask Shad this. Is it kind of a Force Awakens Gladiator? Like, do they just totally repeat the first movie?
I mean, there's a primary premise that is completely, and it's no mystery. It's a revenge plot. And so they frame that up at the beginning, trying to capture what they have in the first one. Then there is a kind of, well, funny enough, there's another subplot for trying to gain control of Rome as well, which is, very much in line with the first one. How it plays out is differently, but the bones are pretty similar, and the execution is horrible. It's actually as I think about it, wow, there more actually is in repetition of the first one. So this is almost like a Force Awakens into how much they're copying. Oh dear.
That's just what it sounds like. I've listened to only like 2 reviews, and like the story just kind of sounds beat for beat like a Force Awakens, where there might be some changes.
I could give you the beats, and it's not really a spoiler because you've seen the first film. Do you want me to give you what the brief breakdown of the plot is? I don't
know. You can. Now, look, everybody, before Shad goes into this, so obviously Shad's about to do a little bit of spoilers here. I'm going to make a request, and I'm sorry, the dogs in the background right now are going nuts. And this is very important because we love our guests, and we're here to help them with their channels and help them grow and build audiences. Shad's going to talk about this here, but everybody watching, you've got to promise me, I will. You need to go over and watch Shad's video when it drops in a few days, okay? So you need to go we're going to link to it. I will share it out to my YouTube community when it comes out. But Shad, all right, floor is yours.
Well, yeah, I'll go into more detail in my review, but the basic structure is shockingly similar. Dude loses his family by the Romans, wants to go on, gets captured, forced into slavery as a gladiator, uses his position as a gladiator to seek revenge against the person that killed his family. The person that killed his family, they want to overthrow the Roman emperor because the emperors are bad. And in the process of them trying to overthrow it, they get betrayed and stopped, just like what happens in the first one. They're almost ready to try and launch his thing. And then the guy gets to confront the guy that killed his family. And then it plays out a little differently after that.
Okay.
And I'll leave that. I won't spoil any of that. But the resolution.
So that first part, though, is beat for beat.
That's like 80% of the film. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, that's deep. So it's The Force Awakens, but Gladiators.
Almost. But basically, and with less likable characters, more poorly executed, more baffling tactics and concepts, and then like cartoonish cliche villains as well. And so it's bad.
Other question I have, are the emperors gay?
What is?
I knew it. I knew it. I knew they were going there.
Next tell us they bypass a compressor.
No, what's kind of funny about it is that look, spoilers, but this is funny. He's the crazy one. And one of the other guys actually says, like, the sickness in your loins is becoming a sickness in your mind, or something like that. And I was like, oh boy, that's not a very PC statement or something.
No,
like
that is not. Well, and what I was going to say too before I got into Gladiator is I'm kind of echoing. Even though I'm going to see both of them, I think I'm going to hit the girl one first so I think I'm going to do Wicked Thursday and Gladiator Friday. And what's sad is I'm the same as Valiant. I've seen the Broadway play 2 times. I have the soundtrack. The music's incredible. It's a fantastic story, but I am not excited to see this movie because it's just not going to capture the magic of the play. So what's the point?
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.